evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to call this regular meeting of the City of Pasco Code Enforcement Board to order. These proceedings are being presented live tonight on PSC-TV Cable 191 and will be rebroadcast throughout the following month. The Code Enforcement Board conducts public meetings to hear issues regarding alleged violations of the City Code, in particular property maintenance standards. For those present, if you're given an opportunity to address the Code Enforcement Board tonight, we ask you speak clearly into the microphone at the podium right up here and state your name and address for the record. I would also like to request that if you brought a cell phone tonight, that you'd please turn that off during the proceedings. Thank you very much. We will now have roll call.
Mr. Dwayne Van Beek. Present. Mr. Dwayne Spear.
Present.
Mr. Daniel Gottschalk.
Present.
Ms. Mary Gutierrez.
Present.
Mr. James Rawlinson.
Present.
We have 5 members present. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, folks. The next item of business on tonight's agenda is the approval of the minutes from the August 3rd, 2023 meeting. May I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
I move the minutes of the August 3rd, 2023 meeting of the Code Enforcement Board be approved as mailed.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the minutes as they were mailed. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the motion carries. We will now hear the cases scheduled for tonight, September 7th, 2023 at 7 o'clock for alleged violations of the Pasco Municipal Code. The City of Pasco is a petitioner. Property owners and their authorized representatives here to address the city's charges are the respondents. The purpose of these hearings is to determine whether the city, by a preponderance of the evidence, has proven that the violation charged has occurred upon certain properties owned or controlled by the respondents, and if so, whether the required corrective action is reasonable and whether a monetary penalty is appropriate. The hearing procedures are as follows tonight. First, the chair will open the hearing, which is being recorded. To ensure the accuracy of the testimony, each person who will be testifying tonight shall be sworn to truthfulness. Second, the city has a burden of proof and shall present its case, including any witnesses and exhibits that are relevant to the case. The respondents may cross-examine the city and the city's witnesses. Third, the respondents shall present their case, including any witnesses and exhibits that are relevant to the case. The city may cross-examine the respondents' witnesses. Fourth, the city will have the opportunity for rebuttal of the respondents' evidence raised in their case, and the respondents may answer the city's rebuttal. Fifth, after all the evidence is in the record, the hearing will be closed. Remember, this is the only opportunity to present evidence in your case. And then finally, the board members will discuss the charges and facts and evidence presented and render a decision. A copy of the decision will be mailed to all parties within 10 working days of the hearing.
Mr. Chair, we're ready to hear tonight's cases. Before we begin, will you please explain the procedure for providing testimony and swearing all city staff, respondents, and any other witnesses who have appeared here to offer testimony?
Sir, testimony can only be received at the microphone at the podium. When you address the board, please state your name and address at the beginning of your testimony. If you have any written materials that you wish to be considered, please present them to be marked as an exhibit. It will become part of the hearing record. Are there any questions about the procedures tonight, folks? Okay. Are there any objections to any member of this board hearing your matter due to your belief that any one of us may have a conflict of interest or the appearance of one? And if so, please indicate that objection now or it will be considered waived. All right. We will now swear in the witnesses who will be testifying in the proceedings tonight. Would all city staff, respondents, anybody that's going to come up and talk to us, stand up, please, and raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth in these proceedings? If so, please respond, I do. Thank you very much. You can be seated. The city will now present their first case.
Mr. Chair, we're going to do the second case first, if you don't mind. That is going to be CEB 2023-0981. Ms. Strader, will you please present your case when you're ready?
The property known as 900 South Maitland Avenue was inspected on August 2nd, 2023. Violations of the Pasco Municipal Code were observed and were determined to be second repeat violations. Previous notice of civil violations and repeat notice of civil violations were sent on the following dates: 11/22/2021 for code case CEB 2021-1332, 038 2022 CEB 2022-0398 for one or more of the cited violations. A second repeat notice of civil violation was issued on August 16th, 2023 via certified mail. The property owner was legally notified on August 18th, 2023 of the conditions which I believe to be second repeat violations of the Pasco Municipal Code. I have supplied the board with pictures of the original and the current property conditions with the date clearly marked on the pictures. The violations being addressed include PMC 5591, failure to comply with regulations applicable to the business license G&A Auto Repair, PMC 5593, obstructing the public right-of-way with vehicles from the businesses at this location, and PMC 258529D4, storing customer vehicles in excess of the property's limit, all repeat violations. Since 2015, the Code Division has issued violation notices for a total of 9 cases for the same code violations. Penalties assessed for 3 of those cases were held in abeyance. Due to a failure to maintain the property in compliance per those agreements, 2 of the cases that accrued penalties were invoiced. The highlighted cases are the ones being referenced. Code officers have met with the owner on site twice to discuss violations and advise of ways to come into compliance. Code officers have also had a meeting in the office with the owner and son present to discuss violations and advised of any other ways to come into compliance. I have also provided the board a property overhead aerial view of this property and surrounding area. The red outline is the approximate property line of 900 South Maitland Avenue. All vehicles outside of that are in the public right-of-way, which is highlighted in yellow. The board should also note that while this is an industrial zone, there are many non-conforming residential homes located across the street to the north and northeast of 900 South Maitland Avenue. Any vehicles visible from the public right-of-way must be operable and with current registration. Vehicle repairs cannot take place in the right-of-way or outside of the fenced area or structure. All vehicle parts must be stored inside the structure or behind the fence. Customer vehicles and vehicles used for the business cannot be stored in the public right-of-way. Our office received an anonymous complaint regarding the intersection of South Maitland and East B Street being dangerous because of many double-parked vehicles and large industrial vehicles parked on the street for the business located at 900 South Maitland Avenue. On August 2nd, 2023, I, Code Officer Rochelle Strader, took photos of the property 900 South Maitland Avenue. I found many vehicles being parked in the public right-of-way in front of the property and on the adjacent streets. I observed inoperable vehicles, vehicle parts, and some vehicles missing license plates. On August 19, 2023, I received an email from the property and business owner, Gabriel Alvarez, advising that he received a few letters about repeat violations regarding storing excess customer vehicles and not having a business license. I've attached a copy of the email to the hearing fact sheet for the Code Board members to review. On August 20th, 2023, Code Officer Rosanna Johnson went by the location and photos were taken. Many of the same vehicles that had been noted being stored in the public right-of-way had not moved and can be seen in the photos provided. Photos were also taken of 2 business vehicles owned by Gabriel being stored in the right-of-way. I attached copies of the registrations for those 2 vehicles to this hearing fact sheet packet. On August 22nd, 2023, I responded to Gabriel's email advising the notice was not for not having a business license, but for failing to comply with the regulations applicable to his business license, G&A Auto Repair. The violations of storing customer vehicles in excess of the property's limit and obstructing the right-of-way with vehicles from the business are what it is referencing. At this time, I advised Gabriel that if he wished to attend the Code Board hearing, I'd put him on the schedule to be heard. On August 29, 2023, I had counter contact with Gabriel's son, who came in regarding the invoice that was sent for the prior code case that had been held in abeyance. He asked if he could get a reduction for the penalty. I advised the invoice was sent out after it had been held in abeyance. Since the same issues occurred within the abeyance time period, an invoice was created for past accrued penalties. I advised he could submit a request to have it reduced, but was not sure if it would be done because of the past history and the fact that the property is currently not in compliance. He asked which vehicles were out of compliance. I provided photos from this current case and explained. He said he would relay the information to his dad. On that same day, I received an email from Gabriel's son who said he explained the situation to his dad and his dad wanted to set up a meeting with myself and my supervisor because he had some questions and concerns. I returned his email that same day and advised I had spoken to my lead, and since similar discussions have occurred multiple times in the past, the best thing to do would be to schedule to attend the code board hearing. I gave him the time, date, and location and asked that he let me know if he wished to attend. Gabriel's son advised his dad and himself will be attending. Based on the final inspection of the property, which was completed on September 5th, 2023, it is my opinion that the property is not in compliance at this time. Photos provided show customer vehicles, including ones without license plates, vehicle parts, and business vehicles being stored in the right-of-way. I've included past photos from CEB 2021-1332 and CEB 2022-0398 showing the same violations. Violations that have still not been corrected are obstructing the right-of-way, the public right-of-way with vehicles from the businesses at this location, storing customer vehicles in excess of the property's limit, and failure to comply with regulations applicable to the business license G&A Auto Repair. The City of Pasco recommends that Gabriel Alvarez Ramirez, G&A Auto Repair, shall pay $400 for a second repeat penalty, be given 10 days to correct any remaining violations, or pay a penalty of $200 a day per day for 10 days.
All right, thank you. Who'd like to be heard in this case? Whoever would like to be heard, you can step up to the microphone, please. You're good? Okay.
I have a question or two.
If you wouldn't mind, sir, please state your name and address for the record when you get up there, please.
Speak up.
There you go.
Thank you, Gabriel. One more time, please, sir.
No. Speak up, please. I'm kind of a little hard of hearing.
My name is Gabriel Alvarez Moraes from 900 South Mainland Avenue, Pasco.
This doesn't look very good. You have nothing to say about that?
Well, I do realize
Your microphone's off.
You go ahead and just keep it on. One more.
Yep.
Hit the button one
The
more
red,
time.
red light.
There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
sorry about that.
Thanks, man.
Well, I do realize that the pictures and all that are evidence of the violations that they're stating here, and whether I try to talk to my dad and explain to him, he still believes that maybe you guys are being a little too hard on him, but
Speak up, please.
a little anxious.
I'm sure you are. I'm
It's all
sorry.
right. It's all right, man.
That's all right. Just relax.
There you go.
Go ahead, keep talking.
So as much as I talk it over with my dad and explain to him that obviously you guys are not in the wrong, I've read the actual duties of a license and, all those policies, and it does state that we can't have any excess vehicles from our property and we can't be blocking the right of way. So I try to explain that as best to my dad and try to tell him that we got to do something about it, clean it up, or if anything, slow down on the work we get. Because, luckily we've had a lot of work come in, thankfully. But as you see, when we have too much, then it's in excess, and that's when we start getting into problems with the city, right? So one thing that I always told them is that maybe you want to slow down on getting too many jobs. Instead of saying yes to people yes, yes. If you're too full, you can't fit any more cars, just stay as it is until you open up more space. And as far as storing parts and all that outside, most of those, he says, I know that some of those are core returns, like what they call cores, when you buy a part and they expect you to send the used one back to them. So sometimes we have some out there on pallets. Maybe they're not on pallets, but not all of them are cores. Some of them are, scrap metal, like old pieces that were bad on vehicles, so that we throw away. And that's why we have that red truck that you see right there. It's what we use to haul our scrap metal. And as far as work vehicles being parked on the right of way, he thought that it would be okay since they had active plates on them, you know, they weren't expired and they can be moved around. And that's the only vehicles that he would ever park there, cars that you can actually turn on and move whenever you'd like to. And one thing that he did want to say is the picture of that little red truck, the Ford Ranger that was all crushed.
Okay.
That one was from a customer who had it towed there for us to take out the powertrain out, engine and transmission. But since, as you see, we're pretty full on the inside, we couldn't get it in right away and store it and get that done. But if you went and looked right now, it's not there because we've already got what was needed out, and they came and picked it up and threw away the shell.
Sir, I think the code officer is actually looking at not an individual vehicle, it's looking at the entire property as a whole. So I appreciate you breaking it down per vehicle, but there's just a lot of
Yeah, as
vehicles
far as
total.
property, then yeah,
Going
is right.
forward, because it is a second repeat, what's the plan to fix it and to clear all of that up? Because right now with all the repeats, and there's 9 cases of code violations, so we definitely have a problem. So I want to know going forward, starting tomorrow morning, what is the plan to fix that?
Any vehicle that is junk or can be moved and operable, that is either ours or customers, will have to call them and have them pick it up for the time being if they're not going to be in the shop right away to get work done. So we're
You
gonna
have
try to-
someplace to put them?
That?
You have somewhere to put them?
We did have a fenced off area on the side that we got a permit for, but since we share the building with another auto body shop, it's already pretty filled up in there.
So the
Unfortunately.
answer is
We don't have.
no? The answer is no. You don't have a place to put them.
There's no plan.
There's no plan.
Well,
We need a plan. Because it's gonna cost you a lot of money with what the city and everything that we're looking at, and the violations being a repeat, it's not being taken care of, and it's been a couple of years now. So I'm just afraid that if you don't have a plan, it's gonna keep getting worse.
I have one question for the city. Are they caught up on their bills?
They currently have one, it's in repayment, and one that's still outstanding.
So that, no.
No.
The reason, let me ask a question on this. Is the reason if these vehicles have been repaired, or some of them, is there some reason like the owner has failed to pay? Is that why you still have them?
It's usually they're either work too late, can't make it in time since we close at 5, or they just don't have a ride if it's their only car. But
Well-
we rarely have any cars that stay there because they're waiting on a payment. It's usually waiting for them to have time to come down and get them.
The other thing, this question is, if you were in my chair up here and I was standing out there with 9 open violations, second repeat violations, failure to comply with the requirements on the business license, what would you do?
I'll ask the owner to, take it seriously, and start doing something. If not, then obviously the consequences are just going to get worse.
yeah, well, here, I appreciate Gabriel is brave to get up and talk to
Yes.
us, right? Which is good. Bless your heart, we appreciate that. And I believe he told us at the beginning that his dad is a little resistant.
Yeah.
Um,
That's one thing.
and thinks maybe we're being a little hard on it, but the fact is, for us to give you to 3 times put it in advance, man, that's gotta be some kind of record for us, cause we don't do that.
Yeah.
We must have been gone that month, or I was off that month or something. Cause it normally doesn't happen, Gabriel.
I wasn't here.
Yeah, yeah, but it's just one of those things that's been ongoing. It started, in 2015 or something crazy? It's been a long, long time, and probably, I'm sure it started originally as a complaint from somebody. And that's
Probably.
generally how most every one of our, that's how we get almost everything, unless there's an emphasis patrol or something. But I don't have any questions for you, but I appreciate you coming up and wanting to talk to us. Is there anything else you want to add?
No.
I have one overriding final question is, what's it gonna take for us to get you to come in compliance?
Well,
A really big fine,
I'll make them take it seriously,
get
but
your attention maybe?
give you a buck.
$1,000 fine?
I'll definitely do it. Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that, but I'm just asking.
Yeah. It'd be a lot of pressure, obviously, if you saw a $10,000 bill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
We got a lot of business, obviously.
Well, the question I have is, your dad feels we're being, or the city's being a little hard on him with the fines. But
Well-
three times we've told him, okay, if you take care of it and you stay clean for 2 year, 1 year, whatever, it'll go away. And he hasn't done that.
That's the thing I try to talk to him too.
That's not us. He let himself down.
Yeah.
We've given him
That's-
all the opportunities,
Hmm?
and it's time to pay the price.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Gabriel. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Gabriel.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There being no further evidence to be presented, I determine the record complete. The hearing is now closed and no additional evidence will be permitted. The board will now discuss the charges, facts, and evidence presented, and we will render a decision. First off, do we agree by preponderance of the evidence the city has proven that a violation of the Pasco Municipal Code has occurred? And may I have a motion one way or the other, please?
I move that the board, having heard the case and facts presented, and by preponderance of the evidence presented, find the respondent in violation of the Pasco Municipal Code.
Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. What are we gonna do here? Yeah, I'm,
Mr. Chairman and board,
go ahead.
I appreciate the position, the unenviable position that the son has been placed in.
Correct.
He can't force Dad to do anything, but by the same token, Dad has to recognize that enough's enough. And my position is I would recommend that we go with the city's recommendation.
Raised.
I would too.
He's been pretty
It's not
generous with it.
working.
No.
Yeah.
Standard fines are not working. I was joking when I said $10,000, but I'm not joking when I say higher.
Yeah. Well, I've seen up to $500 a day.
I'd like to see a repeat of 1,000 and 500 a day.
Mary,
Sure.
who'd like to make the, somebody want to try a motion there?
I move a compliance time frame of 10 days, a monetary penalty of $500 per day be imposed for a period of 10 days in this case if the time frame expires and the property is still in violation. And I also move a repeat penalty of $1,000 be imposed on this property which was found to be in repeat violation of the Pasco Municipal Code but has since corrected all violations.
Okay, I got that one. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Sir, there's going to be a $1,000 penalty for the repeat and then $500 a day for 10 days until you get it cleaned up for the 10 days. We hope you do it, please. A copy of the decision will be mailed to you. Thank you for your participation in the hearing. Can we hear the next case tonight, please?
One thing of note is you will likely get officially in the mail in 10 days or so, within 10 days. You got some time to work on it before the $500 a day starts.
All right, can we hear your next case, please?
Sure. Our next case is going to be CEB 2023-0729. Mr. Contreras, will you please present your case when you're ready?
Case number CEB 2023-0729. The property known as 3208 West Ellis Street was inspected on June 19, 2023 by myself, Code Officer Jesus Contreras. Violations of the Pasco Municipal Code were observed and a correction notice was issued on 6/19/2023. I received a call from Shaquila W. Kelly on 6/21/2023 who informed me that she believed that the city of Pasco was responsible for these violations, as the Pasco Police Department had served a search warrant on her property. I informed her that the violations were her responsibility as the property owner. This time we went over the violations. She then asked for more time to come into compliance. I explained that I could grant her extensions as long as progress was being made to remedy violations, and on 6/21/2023 I granted her a extension for work in progress, as she had stated that she had done some cleanup. The extension was granted for the correction notice reinspection to be done on 7/10/2023, and on 7/10/2023 I received a call from Shaquila stating that she was in compliance. I informed her that I had performed a field inspection on this day and had found the violations still remained. I went over the pictures I had taken on this day and explained what violations still remained unabated. I informed her that since she had applied for a permit for one of the violations on 6/27/2023 and had removed some items, I could grant her another extension. The second extension was granted and reinspection was set for 7/25/2023. A reinspection of the property revealed that it was still in violation of the Pasco Municipal Code, and a notice of civil violation was issued on 7/25/2023. The property owners were legally notified via certified mail on 8/01/2023 of the condition, which I believe to be in violation of the Pasco Municipal Code. I received confirmation from the Pasco Police Department that law enforcement action had damaged the windows and the fencing, and due to this, I have removed these violations from the notice. Based on the final inspection of the property, which was completed on 9/04/2023, it is my opinion that the property is not in compliance with the City of Pasco Municipal Code at this time. And the City of Pasco recommends that Shaquila W. Kelly shall be given 10 days to correct any remaining violations or pay a penalty of $50 per day for 10 days.
All right, thank you. Who'd like to be heard in this case? Come on up, ma'am. Would you please step up to the podium and then hit the button for the red light to come on and state your name and address, please?
Kelly, 3208.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us?
When I first got the violations, I contacted Mr. Contreras, as he said, and I explained to him what had happened. And I mean, I've never, well, that's a lie. I shouldn't say I never. I did get a violation before, and it was immediately corrected. So other than that, there was no issues. And I told him, I said, you know, there was an issue that happened at my home, and to this day, I'm still not in my home. And when I explained to him that, you know, with my fencing and my windows and stuff like that, that there was a police report that he could read, he in fact told me that that wasn't his job. I felt that he was being very rude. I had to contact somebody to come help, and a lot of that stuff is removed. There's no wheelbarrows. I can't move the railroad ties, which were supposed to be used for decorations. The stands and stuff were moved. And when I called him back and told him that I'd done some stuff, he had stated that it wasn't good enough. And then he was like, and when I questioned him about inoperable vehicles and things like that, he stated, you know, they're not running, they're this, they're this, they're this. And I'm like, okay, there's all the vehicles run. The Kia Spectra, and then there was another one that was on the outside of my fence was my sister's. And he stated, well, none of them were licensed. And I said, that's kind of weird. My sister usually keeps her things licensed. So when I informed my sister, she was like, oh crap, I still have them. She came, she put the tabs on both her vehicles. She moved one of them. The only reason why the Spectra is still there is because a tire issue. I moved my Denali into my driveway. He goes, well, you still need to get them licensed. And I said, I'm not going to license a vehicle that I'm trying to sell, because then not only do I pay to have the licensed vehicle, and then when I sell it, the other person has to again license it. And he still felt like it was not, I'm like, there's only so much I can do. And he proceeded to tell me, well, I could, technically I could violate you for the trailer because the trailer is supposed to be on a concrete slab. I'm like, my driveway's all gravel. And I said, and my garbage cans, where you see these ones sitting right here, I had my big ones there as well. They've always been there since I put my fencing up. And he states that they're not allowed to be there. And I feel like I would have never had an issue if I wouldn't have this issue with the city. Because I mean,
What happened?
my ex-boyfriend, they came to remove him and he had a warrant and he wouldn't come out, and they found a weapon that was not mine in an attic where he was barricaded. And so SWAT came to my house. I had the SWAT truck did that to my fence, and my front fence they ruined. They shot tear gas and things like that through my daughter's back window. In the front, or on the side where the vent is at, they shot it through the front windows. Yeah, they broke my concrete slab that was in front. They did over, this whole incident was over $60-some thousand worth of damage. Yeah, I have, like, the bills, or I think I brought one of the statements, but I also, I felt like I was being harassed because, like I said, I've never really had an issue. I've been at my place for over 18 years. I get along with my neighbors, and, my neighbor Jim that has the red car, he's like, when he was out of town and he came home, he's like, what happened? And I told him, I said, but yeah, now I'm having an issue with code enforcement. He's like, why? I said, because of my fence. And I mean, I'm a single mom, and I'm trying to do the best that I can. I mean, I've done a heck of a lot of improvements. If you guys seen what my house was when I bought it, you would know that there's been stuff done. And I tried to talk with him, and I got to the point that I just didn't want to deal with him anymore. I did not, because I felt like I was being picked on, in all honesty. And my mom was like the same way. So was my brother. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I haven't been in my house since the 24th of May, living in a hotel with 2 kids. I go over there every couple days to get the mail and stuff. I mean, and I asked him, I said, well, I stated to him, I said, I'm waiting for my insurance to get the fence and the windows fixed, because I felt like like I said, if the fence wasn't broken and the windows weren't done, nobody would have complained. And he's like, well, it's not the insurance's fault. It's not, their place. You can go and get the permit for your concrete. You can go do this. I'm like, why am I going to put out my money when I'm not the one that caused the damage and I'm waiting on? I can't move the contractors and the insurance to get stuff done. I can't.
Let me ask you a question, and it's all right. What is your okay? How many? I got a couple questions. How many inoperable vehicles are at your house right now? How many? Oh, they all run?
They all run, because in fact the 2 that are there, and then there was another one. I drove him into my driveway. I put my white one into the driveway because he says that they have to be behind a fence. My sister drove her little one in there, and like I said, she couldn't drive it away because it's got a tire issue because it's been sitting for years. Her other one she took away. She literally drove it away. And so when I kept asking him, what do you consider inoperable? I said, because obviously they work, because we were able to, you could tell we drove them into the driveway. They weren't pulled into the driveway.
Okay, that's a bit of a gray area there and there, because I've seen cars that have been able to park and then the tires go flat and
No,
they sit there and do all that. Okay, how many vehicles do you have there that are not licensed? You said you got
just
your
the
one.
white one.
Just the one?
Just the white one now, because
Okay.
my sister came over and immediately put the tabs on her vehicle. My white one, again, is not licensed because I'm trying to sell it. And
Right.
again, I'm not, because I had bought a new vehicle. The tabs that were, or the plates that were on that vehicle transferred to my new one. And So I'm like, why am I gonna put tabs on it? Because like I said, whoever purchases it is
Okay.
gonna have to turn around and relicense
Yeah,
it anyway.
okay, let me ask you another question.
Mhm.
Have you been in touch with your insurance? Do they give you any kind of an indication when you would be getting money for that?
I have, in fact, I got one check, but that, like I said, it goes to the people that are working on my house. And as you see, they finally got a container into my house because my house has to be totally decontaminated from top to bottom.
Right, right.
I wish I would have printed out the photos of what my house looked like on the
Yeah.
inside, but, yeah.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
I don't believe the fence or the windows are even on this case.
Right.
Yes, it
Mr.
is.
Contreras is
Now, we've taken it,
the items that are on this case.
The items that are left are the chairs, pallets, and wheelbarrows, all the debris and the building materials.
they
stored throughout
purposely
the
took that
property.
off when they found out the police
Right.
did that damage to your house. So
And,
those
and
aren't,
like I
those
said,
aren't
I
part of
think
it
the
right
only
now.
reason why the police, he finally took the opportunity to take the police is because I went to the prosecuting attorney's office and I stated that I was having an issue with code enforcement because of the issue, because of the damage that was done. And she made a phone call to the chief of police, who then made a phone call, I believe, to Rosanna. I was just told that there was a phone call. I have the text message
Okay.
that was made.
Ma'am, you're
because-
partially right. Yeah, we received confirmation that
And
the
like I
damage
said,
was
so I
done.
never got anything showing that there was.
that's
stuff
exactly
taken off.
why it's not on here.
Yeah,
It's
well,
all
I
of
didn't
the
know.
other-
I
They've
didn't
taken
know.
that
I'm
part
just
up.
going
Yep.
off of what I have that I
Understood.
received. And like I said, there's no wheelbarrows there, so, you know, and there's no inoperable vehicles. I noticed he didn't take a clear picture to show that the tabs on the vehicle are current, which was one of the vehicles that he was complaining about. The building material, which is the white thing, I was originally gonna put up a carport, but we never got a chance to do it. And like I said, my garbage cans are moved. The only reason why that one is there is because I went over and start pulling the weeds and doing what I could, you know.
So is aside from the fence and the windows, are you saying that you don't have any other violations besides aside from what the fence and the windows were? Everything else is taken care of?
Everything is basically being taken care of. The concrete where it's broke right there, that was one of the violations that he gave me, but he says it's now corrected because I had to go down
Yeah,
and get a
they took-
permit.
I saw
The
that.
city's supposed to be paying for that to get replaced.
Okay,
But like I said, the only other violations, like I said, the vehicles, the only one again is not licensed, is the white one. My garbage can, I moved all my garbage cans to the other side, behind that white trailer, because he says that they couldn't be
that was on the 5th.
up front, even though they're behind a fence, they're not allowed to be there. And like I said,
Okay, let me ask, give me just a second. Jesus, sir, tell us in the picture there on the right what the violations are right there.
The one that you're talking about right there?
Go back one. I want that one. What are we looking at there?
So right there, you're still looking at that vehicle, that gray one. Even if she does have the tabs on it, even the driver's seat is full of clothes and stuff, and I believe it does have a flat tire. The wheelbarrow that she's talking about that she removed, it did get removed, but it got put. You can see it in the far end of that picture. It's still full of debris back there.
are there? Is there?
It's right there, right
Where?
next to that garbage can back there.
That's not a wheelbarrow. I'm sorry, that's not a wheelbarrow. And then the little thing
That would
that's
still
in the
need to be
back
removed.
It's okay,
is
Miss
a fire
Shakila.
pit.
It's okay. Let me do it. Okay, so how about tell us the violations here, please?
The debris, the construction material that's sitting out there, and that what appears to be a wheelbarrow, whatever is in the back, full of garbage.
It appears to be one of the garbage cans I think we all use.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Appears to me to be a Pasco-approved garbage can.
Yes, correct. I'm not, that isn't part of
seen
the,
something
of
else
the
over there.
violation in this case.
But
Those
that sounds
garbage
like that
cans
could
were
be an
set out
easy-
on the outside of her fence.
That could be anything.
The one that's sitting there.
Yeah, this one is
I don't see a
back.
wheelbarrow.
Whatever it is to the left of it,
It looks like a fire pit.
I just want to clarify, the wheelbarrow is not what's in question, it's the materials in it. So on this photo, if you're looking at it, it's the vegetation, the debris that's there. Those are things that are cited in this case that we would expect a homeowner to still be able to go and maintain that.
It does say wheelbarrows on here, though.
says chairs,
Okay.
pallets, wheelbarrows, debris, and building materials being stored throughout the property, not corrected. So
Understood.
the wheelbarrow is being included.
Sounds
and there's
like,
no wheelbarrow.
Ms. Shakila,
Yeah.
to me, it looks like there is a couple things there that you probably could finish cleaning up a little bit, right? How long would it take you to just clean that up like that? I know that in Pasco, shoot, you could put anything on the street or in my alley and they'll take it. They'll pick it up and take it. I could put a couch out there and they'll take it, right? How long do you think it would take you you have the things that you were gonna build something at the back there on the right, correct?
Right.
Those that need to be stowed or perhaps sold or given away, and then you have a pile of some materials there. Aside from the fence and the work that's being done on your house, how long do you think it would take for you to take care of those few things? It doesn't look like a lot.
Honestly, it's just me trying to find people that are able to, to help me.
Sure, that's what I'm just
Oh,
asking. I want you
yeah.
just to give me a time. How long you think that would be reasonable to where they could actually, you could find some help and get it done? I don't see a lot of work there.
Do you need like a day, 5 days, 10 days?
30 days.
Be on the safe side, I would say 15, because like I said, everybody I know works. I'm the only one that doesn't work. And so it's, and when I get a chance, I go and try to do things, and so it's just kind of like, but in heart of hearts, I just feel like I'm being picked on. Because best believe I went around the neighborhood and found a lot more things
Well-
that were done. And that fence right there isn't mine
Yeah, I'll try.
either. So
I'll try to explain it to you if I can. Okay, so somehow, once code enforcement is you're on the radar, right? Because something happened, whatever it is, they're almost always complaint driven. Somehow something happened, whether it was the police that knocked down your fence. That's when they're called in. If they see other violations that are obvious and clearly there, they can't just walk past those. And so the trick is to never get on their radar, right? You couldn't help it because the SWAT team knocked down your fence and all that, so you didn't have really a choice in the matter. But so once you're on their radar, then they see these things and they have to make sure that those are taken care of. And so that's where we're at today. So you think it would be about 15 days? Okay.
May I ask, can we go back or one of the other slides? Did I see a storage container on the property? That used storage container, is that right to the left of the car?
smart storage.
Yeah. Are the construction materials still on the building materials? Is there room in that container free for that material to be stored in there? I mean, if it's material for a future construction project that you had intended to do, I would hate to see it just get rid of that if we could store that appropriately or some way in that container. And so, and again, I'm just looking, the other statement that you've made about licensing that unlicensed car and cleaning out, getting a tire repaired isn't a big deal. The unlicensed vehicle, your statement about if you put license on it, then you sell it, they'll have to put license on, would not be correct, because it would be a fully, no difference than me selling my car. I may sign off the title that I've sold the vehicle and it's transfer of title because it's got a current license that would carry on till the expiration date, you see, for a year from now. So I'm just trying to think of how to, you got some chairs, a pallet, some garbage in the wheelbarrow, the unlicensed inoperable vehicle because of the appearance. There's clothing stored in it. It looks like it's being used as a storage container as opposed to an operating vehicle. That's not an awful lot of work, it seems like, that it could be done. And as the chairman has pointed out, our garbage service, you put it in a can, whether it's in a Pasco garbage can or your own garbage can, and set it out by the street or the garbage truck, they'll take it, no additional charge. So there's not a lot of cost involved for cleaning up.
Understood. And like I said, best believe, I've been asking my sister for years to get rid of her vehicles. I'm like, it's a shame. I have that driveway and I can't even park my vehicles in it. And like I said, you know, she was going to take her vehicle away and the tires, because they had sat so long, they rotted. And I keep telling her, you need to get your vehicles out. You need, you know, it'd be nice to be able to park my own stuff in my driveway. And then to go back to your comment about the trailer, I have no idea because that is the construction people's, the people that are working.
it's
So
all their
my stuff
tools
that they're
maybe
bringing,
stored in there.
yeah, so the stuff that they're, when they decontaminate the stuff from my house, they're putting it in the trailer. So when I'm
I
able to move
see.
back into
Oh,
my
yeah,
home,
yeah, that could be a problem.
so I mean, I can ask them for the code do it, but
Yeah, they probably won't want to do that.
they would, I think they would rather keep it for the stuff that they are decontaminating from my house to put back in.
I understand.
But as for the vehicles, I mean, for my sister's vehicle, I mean, I've wanted so many times to just rent a flatbed trailer, put them puppies on there and go drop them off at her house. Cause they've been at my house for,
And can you just store the materials in the rear of the house?
I can, and
Okay.
that was another thing is
I-
when I did move a lot of the stuff, like the previous pictures where it showed the white racks and things like that, he tried to accuse me of putting up another fence to hide the stuff. And I'm like, no, I just put it behind my fence, you know, on my patio. So I did try to remedy some of the things, you know, the boxes. My daughter's father came over, put them in the trailer, you know, and a lot of stuff he said he'll just load up and take to the scrapyard. The pallets, I couldn't move anymore. I moved a couple pallets and put them out on the street, and I believe they're still there. I don't know if they're still there or not.
Okay. All
But-
right. Okay. Is there anything else you want to share? I think we got a pretty good picture of what's going on.
So-
Go ahead, Mary.
So you're asking for about 15 days?
Well, 15 to 20, and like I said, even if I've got to try to hire somebody to come in and, you know, move the stuff for me, so be it. But like I said, I know the fence isn't going to be done
Right.
as much as I wish it would.
Yeah, yeah.
The fence, City of Pasco's taking care of that?
It's on my insurance. My insurance is paying for everything to get done, and then we're supposed to submit the bill to the city
Okay.
to get reimbursed to my insurance for all of this.
Do you have an idea when the fence is going to be taken care of?
No, I was
Because
told,
we're not asking for you to replace the fence, we're just asking for you to remove it's an attractive nuisance, right? It's-
Yeah,
It's
I know.
dangerous. So everything that we receive, or staff receives, is complaints, right? Complaint oriented from people driving by or neighbors or whatever the case might be. I mean, you look at this, not knowing the circumstances, because I
Right.
think it happened,
Yeah.
4 or 5 months ago, May?
it was May 24th.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're quite a few months in. There's a lot of exposed nails. It's definitely a danger, right? So we're not asking, and this is another reason why we didn't put it on, we took it off, is to allow you a little bit more time, work with the city for whatever that incident was. It has nothing to do with us. But we're not asking you to replace the fence. We're just asking you to clean that up, right? So it's not an attractive nuisance, so it's not dangerous. If you zoom in a little bit, there's a lot of exposed nails sticking out.
I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah, I heard it when it cracked when they put the SWAT truck on it. So yeah, I can imagine. But I mean, my feeling on it was, even if I had somebody come in and remove that section of the fence, it's still going to look like a nuisance. So I don't know what else to do.
If the weeds are down, the debris is gone, and we have no danger, then you don't have any issues. Because again, we're not telling you to put up a fence. We're just telling you complaints are made because the fence is down, and complaints are made because you have dry vegetation, tall weeds, and a lot of garbage here and there.
Okay. And like I said, the back, if the fence wouldn't have been down, they would have never known.
You're
But
absolutely
anyway,
right.
But I
You're
understand.
absolutely
I
right.
have to make light of the situation because I get depressed knowing what happened to my house. And so it's just kind of like, I have to make fun of it.
We understand,
And
and that's
it's
why
not-
we're not even touching that, because we understand that that's something completely
But-
out of our hands.
My neighbor Jim said that he called down to the city and they said that they could actually come and fix the fence. But I didn't know how that would work considering the fact that my insurance is already,
No, You know, unfortunately, I think maybe he misunderstood.
Well, that's what I thought. I'm like, they
Yeah.
told me that, once everything was done, because my insurance has already gotten
But
involved.
regardless, they're not gonna fix that, right? That's beyond repair. So that can be just maybe moved to the back or moved, maybe in chunks and put out on the street for BDI to pick up possibly.
I can hope. I can hope, because like I
Okay.
said, there's things that BDI has been picky about. Because like I said, I honestly think that the pallets might still be in front of my fence, because I put them out with the garbage, and there's stuff that
People see you have pallets, they'll grab them in a second.
I've
Those are
seriously,
worth
I've
money.
had them out
They're
there
worth-
and
I
they've
don't know
been
how
left
much,
there.
but people will grab pellets in a second. It won't take long. Now you're on TV, right?
Yeah.
The pallets are gone already.
There's a lot more, just,
Yeah, get them out there. They'll
There's a
be
lot
gone in
more.
no time.
Right.
Hey, all right, Mr. Keel, thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. You can have a seat. There being no further evidence to be presented, I determine the record complete. The hearing is now closed and no additional evidence will be permitted. The board will now discuss the charges, facts, and evidence presented, then we will render a decision. First off, do we agree by preponderance of the evidence the city has proven that a violation of the Pasco Municipal Code has occurred, and may I have a motion one way or the other, please? Page 4.
I move that the board, having heard the case and facts presented, and by preponderance of the evidence presented, find the respondent in violation of the Pasco Municipal Code.
Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. The motion carries.
I would put it in, well, my recommendation is to put it in a baby.
What? I-
30-day
Gutierrez, can you turn your microphone on?
is to, give her an extension and hold off on the penalty.
I like your, I was going to recommend 30 days as well.
I was too.
We're good. Who wants to make the motion?
Mr. Chair, before you do that, are we going to address the fence at all? I know it's not on the actual violation, but it is an attractive nuisance. And I know she's working with the city, but I would like to have some sort of a ETA on when we can at least remove the dangers, so we don't have to write it up.
Okay.
Or if you don't want to tackle that, I understand.
Well, what are your thoughts, Dwayne? I can include it. Okay. Then I would give her even a little more time then. Only because she's not the one that knocked down the fence. Okay, and how it happened, we know that the police did it, and that's okay, in which wouldn't have exposed the weeds in the back and all that. So I think she should get some additional time if we were going to do that more than 30 days. I might go 45 days.
45.
And then by the time she gets it within 8 or 10 days, that gives her even almost some more time. What do you think of that, Dwayne?
Perfect.
I like her to, it's a cleanup, not a replacement
Yes,
or
yes.
anything else.
Just
It's
clean the
like
place up.
taking those boards that you see that are split
Yeah.
by the fence and I can understand that's what causes the people to be concerned, because it's what's really ugly, if you will, the eyesore. So if she can clean that up and then just clean up the property in general.
Yeah.
And she, in my opinion, she's kind of the victim of some circumstances
Right, right.
here, and so
Under control.
I would be wholeheartedly in agreement,
Okay.
even up to 60 days, because as a single mom and so on, trying to
Get the
get it
help.
all done.
Now, one thing I'd like to suggest to Shaquila, if you do start putting the boards out for the garbage to pick up, make sure you bundle them. Because if they're just all loose, they won't pick them up. If you can tie 5 or 6 together with some string, and they'll take
Yeah.
them.
The other thing that, just as a suggestion, because I just found that out myself, if you needed another 90-gallon toter, that's a staggering $2.50 a month additional on your garbage bill, and you have to keep it a minimum of 3 months, but that would give her the ability to put more in at a very, very limited cost. You can call BDI and tell them you want another garbage can, double check with them, but when I did, I just ordered one and they said it's an additional $2.50 a month for an additional can.
Yeah, and if you have enough time, you could easily.
And then
Get
that
that
would
taken
help
care
you in terms of cleaning up and disposing into the garbage.
All right. Okay.
60 days,
Who wants to make a motion?
60 days?
Let's go 60.
Okay.
I move that Shaquila W. Kelly be given 60 days to correct any remaining violations, to include the cleanup of the attractive nuisance of the fallen fence, or pay a penalty of $50 per day for up to 10 days after that.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So ma'am, what we're gonna do is we're giving you 60 days from the time you get the notice. Takes a few days for that. And I think the idea with getting an extra garbage can out there is a great idea. Then you can just have somebody come and help you just fill it up. I've put tons of weight in those and they can still make it work, okay? You'll get official notice in the mail within 10 business days. Thank you very much. All right, do we have any other cases on the agenda tonight?
Sir?
Okay, do we have any amendments or dismissals to the resolution? And,
No, sir.
nope, okay. Who would like to make the motion on the resolution there?
I move that the board approve Resolution 9-2023 as amended, finding that code violations have been corrected and may be dismissed, deferring action on certain cases until proper notification is made, accepting voluntary correction agreements, and assessing penalties and imposing timeframes on certain cases.
Is there a second?
I second.
Moved and seconded. We accept the resolution as amended. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a report from staff tonight?
No, sir.
Any other business?
No, sir.
There being no further business before the Pasco Code Enforcement Board, this meeting is declared adjourned at 7:57.